Okay, this will be the final opportunity today to enter a negotiated guilty plea, and that would be a plea that both sides have agreed to a recommendation, and if the court accepts the plea but sentences to something outside of that recommendation, Mr. McMullen would have a right to withdraw his guilty plea. After today, any plea that is tendered would be non-negotiated, meaning that if he decided to enter a guilty plea, any sentence that was statutorily authorized would be a possible sentence, and there wouldn't be any right to withdraw the plea simply because of dissatisfaction with the sentence. I just wanted to make sure, and I know Mr. Dark, you've told that to Mr. McMullen already, but wanted to make sure that's on the record. All right, and I'll ask Mr. Abadi to please let me know what the state's offer was.
Yes, Your Honor. On the 8th of December of this year, the state sent an email to counsel for the defendant where the state agreed, or the state's offer was the defendant plead to count 1, conspiracy to commit RICO, and then count 2, but the lesser included offense of murder, voluntary manslaughter, with a sentence of 20 years to serve, all of that time being parolable or parole eligible. It's my understanding that at this time the defendant is not accepting that plea offer. So he'd be facing a mandatory minimum if convicted after trial of life, and a maximum of life, double possibility of parole, plus 20 years, Your Honor.
All right, and do you understand that, Mr. McMullen? All right, and as I mentioned before, the fact that there was an acquittal of certain of your co-defendants does not mean that there would be an acquittal in a trial before a different jury with, different prosecutors, different defendants, different defense attorneys. So it's a chance that you were taking, and you obviously have the right to proceed to trial. You also have the right to enter a non-negotiated guilty plea, although you could only enter a non-negotiated guilty plea to the charges that are in the indictment. I, as the judge, don't have any authority to reduce charges. So what I mean by that is, unless the state agreed to permit you to plead to voluntary manslaughter instead of murder, the only pleas I could accept would be to the murder and the conspiracy to violate RICO. So it's the prosecution's sort of venue, if you will, ability, and only theirs to lessen the charges. Okay, you understand that also?